Hello, today's lesson is all about how to draw a face. So we're going to focus on the proportions of the face. So how the face is divided up into sections to make it as realistic as possible. So we're going to start off with our very sharp pencil. We're going to draw a line down the centre of the page. So I'm going to do that very faint because I want to be able to rub it out afterwards. So just one line. And then I'm going to draw an upside down egg shape. I'm going to start off with a curve at the top. The reason for this is because if I started here and work my way up, what tends to happen is you end up with a bit of a pointy top of the head. We want to avoid that. So we're going to do a curve. I'm going to just bring it round. Notice how I'm not holding my pencil tight. I'm just holding it quite far towards the end because I just want a nice loose curve. And I'm almost letting my hand do the work, not my fingers. So I'm going to bring this curve down like this. And just have a nice curved chin as well. The other side's a bit trickier because I can't get that kind of movement with my hand on this side, and I can't really draw with my left hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to make it exactly the same as that side so that it's symmetrical. So down I come. You can even measure to make sure, if you wanted to, you could use your ruler and just measure to make sure that that side is the same width as that side. So let's just have a little check. So 7 centimetres. So I need to come out to 14 here so that that's exactly the same. So I'll just rub that line out there. Good thing I checked. So I'm just doing it faint because I'm going to adapt the shape later on to make it more realistic. So there we go, that's the first stage done. The second step is to draw a horizontal line that's halfway between the top and the bottom. You can either do this by measuring simply with your fingers like this. That's about half. Or you can use a ruler again. Just draw a line across the centre like so. Very faint. And this is where the eyes are going to go. Actually, that line's a little bit angled. It's a bit wonky. I'm going to do it again. Let's just do that again. That's not very good. That's better. So the next stage is to do the eyes across this line. So I'm just going to sketch them out, not too big. This is quite tricky. Right, about there. Now, there needs to be an eye's width in the middle. So I would say that's about right. I can rub that one out after. So I'm just going to sketch the eyes. Let's just rub this one out now that I've got the right size. Make sure that you've got another decent width at the edges here. So I'm just going to sketch some eyes in. I'm not using a mirror or anything, but you can use a mirror if that helps you. It's always a good idea to look at real life when you're drawing. I'm just going to draw a general kind of face here. Just make sure that that line is going along there, so the eye, one eye is not higher than the other. And then I'm going to put in some eyelids. Something like this. And then the eyeballs. Now you make sure that you don't do an eyeball that looks like that. That's not going to be correct. If you look at your eye in the mirror, you'll notice that your eyelid covers part of your iris, which is the coloured part. So imagine that your eyeball is behind that eyelid, and draw a circle as round as you can get it, like that. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'll put some more detail in later, but just so it doesn't look weird, I'm going to put the pupil in. Not going to worry about eyelashes yet. That might need to be a tiny bit bigger. Right. Okay, so next is the eyebrows and the hairline. So what we need to do is we need to divide up this space. So we need 1, 2 more lines. So if we draw a line at the top, like this. Oops, I'm going to take my watch off because it keeps catching on the paper and it's stopping me from drawing properly. There, that's better. So we need to now divide this up. So we need 2 more lines in here. So to divide that equally, I'm just going to just estimate that. So I need a line here and another line here. Not too hard with your pencil because you want to be able to rub these lines out. And so now I've got 1, 2, 3 spaces in here. Okay, so I'm going to draw the eyebrows just underneath this line. Some eyebrows are quite high up, some are low down. It depends on the kind of face you're going to do. I'm going to do it about here. Usually the eyebrow is in line with the corner of the eye, so that's where it's going to start. So you can put those lines in too, that helps. There, something like that. Might just shade them in now. There we go. Let's make sure they both look the same. Right, so now that I've done that, I can add in the hairline. So this is where the hairline's going to go. And I'll put a bit more detail onto that later. Next is the nose and the mouth. So we next need to divide up this space into 3 more spaces. So we need 2 more lines in between this space that are going to be roughly equal as well. So again, I'm just going to estimate this. You could measure it if you like and divide it up into 3. That's up to you. But I'm just going to estimate this. I think the nose will go about here. The mouth here. They don't look equal spaces, do they? But I think that would work. So perhaps this space for the nose might need to be a little bit longer. It depends if you're going to draw a child or an adult. If it's a child, the nose will probably be a little bit shorter. But I'm going to put mine here, and then the mouth will go here. Now if we continue these lines down from the corner of the eye, that is going to show you where the edge of the nose is going to be. So I'm going to put the edge in here, something like this. I'm just going to make up a nose. There. Get some nostrils in. Something like that. There we go. Next is the mouth. Now, the corner of the mouth is usually, it usually lines up with, you see the edge of the iris. So I'm going to draw a line coming down from the edge of the iris. And that is going to show me where the width of the mouth is. Okay, so I'm going to draw a mouth, and the lips, where the lips part, that's where this line is. So I'm going to put that in now. Well, luckily I've got my centre line, so I know how the lips are going to go in the middle here, roughly like this. I'm just going to draw some general kind of lips. There we go. And then you can just put a little curve there for the chin. That should be fine. Next, we're going to put some ears in. Now the ears usually start where this line is here. From the corner to the corner of the eye, that's where the lips start. That's where the ears start. So I'm going to put in the ears here. And the earlobe comes down just below this line for the bottom of the nose. So I'm going to put in this ear here, and I'm going to do the same on this side. Keeping a check that I've got both sides looking exactly the same so that they're symmetrical. That's about right. Okay, so next I'm going to put in a neck. So a lot of people who are new to doing portraits do a thin little neck like this. We want this portrait to be as realistic as possible. The neck is usually comes down from the earlobe like this. Just do a curve. There we go. And then you can just start bringing it down for the shoulders. Okay, now I'm going to put in some hair. You can do your hairstyle however you like, but let's remember there's some thickness to the hair, so it's going to come out like this. probably won't see the ear if the hair's in front of it. It might be tucked behind, so I'm just going to put a bit more hairline in here, and I'm going to imagine that that hair is tucked behind. So you have to draw the hairline coming down. Let's rub that out a little bit. At this point, once you've done all this, you can rub out some of the measurement lines, or if you want to save this drawing as a memory for yourself so that you know how to draw the proportions and you can keep it as a reference for yourself, then keep those measurement lines in. So I'm going to keep mine in, but I will just make them a little bit lighter. I don't really want to see them too much. I'm going to start a tiny bit of shading now. I'm not going to do too much because that's another lesson altogether, but I'm just going to do a tiny bit just to kind of start you off. So I'm going to shade in the eyes a little bit and a tiny bit on the mouth and nose. Not a lot, just kind of suggestion of a bit of light and shade. I'm going to shade in the eyeballs, and I'm going to leave a little bit of highlight in there. Just so that you can see there's a bit of light shining on there. If you shade it in by accident, just get your rubber, just bring it back again. As soon as you shade the eyes on a portrait, it really starts to come to life. This is the best bit, really. There. Now, as this is going to be a female, I'm not going to do eyelashes, but I'm going to make this part of the eyelid a little bit thicker, so it gives a suggestion that there might be some lashes there. I'm going to do this little ridge that you get in the eye, and then I'm going to do a little bit of shading on the mouth. Let's make those lines a bit thinner for you. Let's just put a bit of shading here. Now, if you're drawing yourself, it's a good idea at this point to get a lamp and shine it on the side of your face so that you've got one side of your face in the shade and one side in the light, and then you can get really good effects and do some really good shading that will really help you make your drawing look realistic. I'm going to do a little bit of shade underneath the lips here, not much. As I said, I'm not going to shade the whole face in because that really is another lesson and it takes a long time to do, but I'm just going to make a start on it, really. Let's do a little bit around the eyes next. Don't be scared to shade. Just press really lightly with your pencil, as if you're almost just tickling it. Hardly pressing on there at all. If you do this well, you shouldn't even need to use your finger to smudge it in. You can if you want, but it does help sometimes, but you should just be able to do it just by using the pencil itself and not pressing very hard. Right, okay. Now, one thing that I forgot to do is just slightly change the edge of the face so that it looks a bit more realistic with cheekbones and things like that. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to rub that edge out slightly, and I'm going to just make that come in a little bit and make the face just a little bit more realistic around the edge. You see that now looks like there's a cheekbone there. So let's do the same on this side. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so I'm going to rub out that horizontal line because it's cutting right through the nose. And I'm not keen on that. There, that's a bit better. So I'm going to actually put in a little bit more just under there. It's like a bit of a shadow. And I'm going to use the corner of the rubber. I'm just going to make sure it's clean and just get a little bit of whiteness there. There we go. That's a bit better. I'll just smooth that a tiny bit with my finger. So there you go. actually going to put in a bit more detail just here. Not a lot. There we go. That earlobe. It's a bit longer than the other one. There. Okay, and then perhaps I might just decide on maybe a centre parting, or you could have a side parting, whatever you like. You might just bring the hair down. Like that. And then you could put more detail in the hair, but again, that's all part of the shading, so that might be a good idea to do that in another lesson. Okay, so have fun with your portrait work. Try and be quite loose with your pencil. Okay, don't hold it too tight. Remember, don't press hard because then it's difficult to rub out. If it doesn't go well, just get a piece of paper, try again, or just use your rubber. If the shading gets too heavy, again, just use your rubber with it. Nothing wrong with that. And you can just keep adding to it. That's the nice thing. Just keep adding to your portrait until you're happy with it. That's what I usually do. Spend a lot of time tinkering with it. There, I'm going to leave mine alone now, I think. Keep saying that, and then I keep doing a bit more. Right, okay. Hopefully I'll see you on another lesson. I hope you enjoyed that. Good luck, everyone.